let us continue with the GCD and LCM. So find GCD of A is equals to 2 cube into 5 square into 7, B is equals to 2 square into 3 square into 5 into 7 cube, and C is equals to 2 power 5 into 3 into 7 power 4 into 13. So you need to find the GCD of three numbers A, B and C. So GCD means what? Greatest common divisor. So again, to find the GCD, we'll just take the maximum thing which is common in each prime. So what is GCD of A, B, C, three numbers, is nothing but the maximum common in 2 is 2 square, right? And in 3 nothing is common because 3 is not a factor of A, and in 5 also nothing is common because 5 is not a factor of C, and in 7 power 1 is common, and that's it. So this is the GCD of three numbers A, B and C, right? GCD is nothing but the greatest common divisor of three numbers. So you need to take the common part in each and every prime. So if you are asked to find GCD of three numbers A, B, C, you can do it in this way also. First you can find the GCD of AB, right? Okay, let us just denote GCD of ABC by bracket A comma B comma C. So for this, first you can find GCD of AB, and then with the GCD of AB you can find GCD of AB and C, right? Also you can find first GCD of B and C, and then you can take the common in A and GCD of B and C. That will give you the GCD of three numbers A, B and C. So let us try to understand what is LCM. So LCM, it is nothing but the least common multiple of two integers A and B, least common multiple of two integers A and B is the smallest positive integer which is divisible by both A and B, right? It is denoted in this way. So square brackets A comma B. So this is nothing but LCM of A and B. So what is LCM? It is nothing but the least common multiple. The name itself is very clear. It is nothing but the least common multiple. So let us say if I take A is equals to say 2 square into 3 into 5, and B is equal to 2 into 3 square into 5 cube. So now what is the least common multiple of A and B? So in 2 you need to take a number such that it is divisible by both A and B. So you need to take 2 square, right? Then only it is divisible by both A and B. And in 3 you need to take 3 square, then only this is divisible by both A and B. And in 5 you need to take 5 cube, then only this is divisible by both A and B. So this is a common multiple of A and B, right? This is a multiple of A and B because all the powers of each and every prime which are in A, that are already included in the LCM of A and B, and similarly with B. So this is the common multiple of A and B, as well as this is the least such possible number, right? So this is nothing but the LCM. If you can add 5 power 4 7 cube also, then also this number is divisible by A and B, but now it is not the least possible, right? So to make it least possible, we just leave it here. So this is nothing but LCM of A and B, right? For example, find LCM of 18 and 24, right? So to find LCM, we'll just prime factorize it. 18 is nothing but 2 into 9, so it is 2 into 3 square, and 24 is 2 cube into 3, right? So now you see LCM of 18 and 24, the thing in 2 which you need to take such that it is divisible by both 18 and 24, right? So you need to take 2 cube, then only 2 cube is divisible by 2 as well as 2 cube, right? That is the least common. You can also take 2 power 4. 2 power 4 is also divisible by 2 and 2 power 3, but the least possible we need to take, so that's why I am taking 2 power 3. And similarly in 3, the least possible number which we need to take, such that 3 square and 3 are divisible by that, so we need to take 3 square. So this is 8 into 9, this is 72. So 72 is the LCM of 18 and 24. For example, find LCM of say 15 and say 65, right? So 15 is nothing but 3 into 5, and 65 you can prime factorize it as 5 into 13. So now what is the LCM? So you need to take 3 and you need to take 5 and 13. So this is the LCM, right? For example, if I give you to find LCM of say 2 power 3 into 5 into 7 square, and b is equals to 3 into 11 square, right? You need to find the LCM into say 5 cube, right? So you need to find the LCM. So what is LCM of A and B? So in 2 you need to at least take 2 cube, so that this 2 cube is divisible by, 2 cube is a factor of this 2 cube. And in 3 you need to take 3, in 5 you need to take 5 cube, right? Then only this 5 cube is divisible by both 5 cube and 5. And in 7 you need to take 7 square, and in 11 you need to take 11 square. So this is the LCM of A and B, that is the least common multiple which is possible, right? So this number is a multiple of both A and B, that is A divides LCM of A and B, and B divides LCM of A and B, right? A and B are factors of the LCM, and this is the least such possible number, such that A and B are factors of LCM. So LCM you can also define in this way, that smallest possible D such that A divides D and B divides D, right? So if A divides D and B divides D, then D is a common multiple of A and B, right? If A divides D and B divides D, then D is a common multiple of A and B, and smallest such common multiple is nothing but the LCM, right? So LCM is nothing but smallest possible D such that A divides D and B divides D. So let us say if you have two numbers A and B, right, and if GCD of AB is equals to G, then you can write A is equals to some G into A1, right? You can write A is equal to G into A1, and also you can write B is equal to G into B1, right? And you know that GCD of A1 and B1 is 1. So now LCM of AB, you can write this as, see, you can take G here, and in A1 and B1 nothing is common, so you need to take A1 and you need to take B1. So this is the LCM, that is G into A1 into B1. For example, let us take A is equal to 2 cube into 3 square, and D is equal to 2 into say 3 power 4, right? So now what is the GCD? GCD of A and B is nothing but the maximum common divisor, highest common factor, so that is 2 and 3 square, right? So now A1 is what? A1 is nothing but 2 square into, that's it, A1 is 2 square and B1 is 3 square. So you can see that nothing is common in A1 and B1, and now LCM will be simply G into A1 into B1, that is nothing but 2 into 3 square, and still you need to take 2 square and 3 square, because see, A you wrote it as G into A1, B you wrote it as G into B1. Now you need to take the common multiple, right? So you can take G directly, right? G is fine. And now in A1 and B1 you can see that nothing is common, so you have to take both A1 and B1, right? So let me just explain it clearly. So A is nothing but G, that is 2 into 3 square, into A1, this is 2 square, and B is nothing but G, that is 2 into 3 square, into B1, that is 3 square. So 3 square is left out in B after you take the GCD, and 2 square is left out in A after you take out the GCD. So now how will you write LCM of A and B? So to write the LCM, you can directly take this 2 into 3 square and in between a1 and b1 nothing is common, so you need to take both these 2 square and 3 square, right? So LCM is nothing but g into a1 into b1. So I hope this is very clear. So this is the important property of an LCM, which we have already discussed, and we have already discussed how to find LCM, that is by prime factorization method. So next thing is, say I can always say that GCD of A and B will definitely divide LCM of A and B. This is very clear, you can easily prove it. Next I can say that GCD of A and B into LCM of A and B is nothing but the product of A and B, right? So how did I say this? Because say GCD is G, if GCD is G, right, if GCD of A comma B is equals to G, then A is nothing but G into A1 and B is G into B1, right? So then LCM of A and B, that is nothing but G into A1 into B1, right? So now what is GCD of A and B into LCM of A and B? So GCD is G into LCM is G into A1 into B1. So this is GA1 into GB1, and that is simply A1 into, sorry, that is simply A into B, right? This is A and this is B. So product of GCD and LCM is always product of the numbers, right? For example, let us take A is equals to say 12 and say B is equals to 18. So if you find out the GCD, let us prime factorize this. This is 2 square into 3 and this is 2 into 3 square. So GCD is how much? It is 2 into 3, which is 6, and LCM you can take 2 square into 3 square, right? So this is 4 into 9, that is 36. So now you can see that GCD into LCM is 6 into 36, right? So this is nothing but 6 6 are 36, 216, and you can say A into B, that is 12 into 18, which is again 12 8s are 96, 12 1s are 12 and 9 21. So again 216, fine. So because LCM is nothing but G into A1 into B1, that's why this is true, that GCD into LCM is A into B. Next property is that LCM of MA and MB, this is nothing but M times LCM of A and B. Next is that, say if GCD of A and B is equals to LCM of A and B, right, this simply means that A should be equal to either B or A equal to minus B, that is A should be equal to plus minus B, or you can say that mod A equal to mod B, right? Then only GCD and LCM both can be equal, right? Because GCD is what? It is clearly the common divisor and LCM is common multiple. So if these two are equal means both the numbers should be equal, right? Next is that, now this is an important property, that if A divides B and C divides B, then we told that AC divides B is true if I can guarantee that GCD of AC is 1, right? I told that if GCD of A comma C is 1, then I can say that AC divides B, right? But what happens if GCD of AC is not 1? What is the general statement which I can make? So the general statement I can make is that definitely I can say that LCM of A and C will divide B, right? If A divides B and C divides B, then LCM of A and C will definitely divide B. That is the general statement I can make. Now you see that if GCD of A and C is 1, then simply LCM of A and C is nothing but product of A and B, right? Because GCD into LCM is product of numbers. So if GCD is 1, then LCM itself is the product. So then I can say that AC would have been dividing B, right? If GCD is 1, then simply I can say AC divides B, fine. In general I can say that LCM of A and C will divide B. So I mean this is all about LCM. If you want, let us do one more example. Say let us take, I am trying to prove this property. I'm trying to take an example with this property. So say A is equals to 4 and say B is equals to 6, right? And say C is equals to say 24. So you can see that, so we can observe that A divides C and B divides C, right? So here you can see that AB also divides C, here AB also divides C, but even though GCD of AB is not 1, still AB divides C. So this is a, I mean, no, see here GCD of AB is not 1, still AB divides C. So this is possible. I didn't say that if GCD is 1 then only AB divides C. I just told that if GCD is 1, definitely I can say that AB divides C. So if GCD is not 1, still this can happen, right? But if GCD is 1, then only we can take the guarantee that that will happen, right? That AB will divide C. We can take the guarantee when GCD is 1. Otherwise we can't take the guarantee, but here you can see that still this is true. Fine. So I mean, let us take one more example. This is not a good example to demonstrate the idea. So let us take, say A is equals to 3 and say B is equals to 12, right? And say C is equals to 72. Fine. So you can see that 3 divides 72 and 12 also divides 72, right? And you can see that LCM, that is LCM of 3 comma 12, this is nothing but 36. So 36 also divides 72, right? So I mean, by this you can verify that LCM of AC will always divides B. So if A divides B and C divides B, then we can definitely guarantee that LCM of AC will always divide B. So you try to think why this happens, right? Just try to think that each number is nothing but product of primes. So by that logic you can easily able to think the proof of this property. Fine. So now let us do some test of divisibility. Tests of divisibility. Tests of divisibility means what? We need to check whether a number is a multiple of 2, a multiple of 3 or not. So for that you can divide the entire number with 3 and you can do it, that is fine, but there is some shortcut, right? So first is for 2. So 2 divides n if and only if the last digit is even. The last digit is even. Even digit means it should be either 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. Last digit means nothing but units digit, right? Last digits or the units digit, it is same thing. So for example, 2 divides 3264 because the last digit is even, right? And 2 does not divide 3255 because the last digit is not even. Fine. So if the last digit is even, then definitely 2 will divide that, and if last digit is not even, then 2 will not divide that number. Similarly, we have the test of divisibility for 3, right? 3 divides n if and only if sum of digits of n is divisible by 3, right? So we'll prove this. Why this happens, we'll prove it later at some point of time when we study the scales of notation, but now you just try to remember the test of divisibility. So for 4, what is the test of divisibility of 4? So 4 divides n if and only if the number formed by last 2 digits is divisible by 4. The number formed by last 2 digits is divisible by 4. For example, let us say 325764652, right? This is the number given to you and I asked you whether this is divisible by 4 or not, right? So you just need to check the last 2 digits, that is 52. Is 52 divisible by 4? Yes, right? 4 into 13 is 52. So definitely this number is divisible by 4. For example, if I give you 32541 or say 42. You need to check, is 42 divisible by 4? No, 4 does not divide 42, so I can say that 4 does not divide n. So all these conditions are if and only if conditions, right? That is, they are true both ways. So if a number is divisible by 4, then the number formed by last two digits is divisible by 4, and if the number formed by last two digits is divisible by 4, then the entire number is divisible by 4. Similarly, we know the test of divisibility of 5, that is, last digit should be 0 or 5. Last digit is 0 or 5. So now how to find the test of divisibility of 6? So see, now we'll use the property that if A divides n and B divides n, right? If A divides n and B divides n, and GCD of AB is 1, right? Then I can say that AB divides n, right? This is the property which we have studied. So for 6, I will take 2 into 3, right? I will take 2 into 3 is 6, and I know that GCD of 2 and 3 is 1, right? So 6 divides n if and only if 2 divides n and 3 divides n, and means what? Both the conditions should be true, that 2 should also divide n and 3 should also divide n, then only I can say that 6 divides n, right? Because GCD of 2 and 3 is 1, right? That's why I can use this property. Similarly, for 7, you might not have studied this property in your school, right? So I'll just explain you the property, but the proof we'll do it later. See, so if I want to check, say 136, this is divisible by 7 or not. So what I need to do is, I need to just ignore the last digit, and I need to take the number formed by from first to second last, that is 13, and minus 2 into the last digit, that is 2 into 6, so I'll get 1. So 1 is not divisible by 7, right? 7 does not divide 1, right? So this entire number is not divisible by 7. Let us take one more example, say 119. Fine, I have taken 119. So now you see that 11 minus 2 into 9, this is 11 minus 18, this is minus 7. So clearly minus 7 is divisible by 7, right? 7 divides minus 7, so this implies 7 also divides 119. Fine. For example, let us say I have taken, check if say 224 is divisible by 7 or not, right? So what you do, you just leave the last digit, so rest of the number is 22 minus 2 into last digit, so 22 minus 8, this is how much? 14. So clearly 7 divides 14, this implies 7 also divides 224, right? For example, if I take 3254, then to check if it is divisible by 7 or not, I'll just do 325 minus 2 into last digit, so 325 minus 8, so 325 minus 8 is 317, and again I need to check whether 317 is divisible by 7 or not. Then I'll use this property again and again, 31 minus 2 into 7. So clearly you can see that this is a multiple of 7, this is not a multiple of 7, right? So not a multiple of 7, and this is a multiple of 7, right? So this entire thing is clearly not divisible by 7, right? 7 does not divide 31, but 7 divides 2 into 7, so 7 does not divide 31 minus 2 into 7, right? Because this will leave some remainder, whereas this will be completely divisible by 7. So then 7 does not divide 317, this means that 7 does not divide the original number, that is 3254. So I think that the test of divisibility of 7 is very clear. And for 8, we just need to check 8 divides n if and only if the number formed by last 3 digits, the number formed by last 3 digits of n is divisible by 8. The number formed by last 3 digits of n is divisible by 8. For example, if I take say 3125, okay, no, 3125 is anyways not divisible because it is odd. So let us take 2000, right? Now clearly you can see that 0 0 0, this number is formed by last three digits. This is divisible by 8, right? So then I can say that 8 also divides 2000. Let us take one more example, say 5 1 1 2 4. So what is the number formed by last three digits? 1 to 4. So clearly we need to check if 1 to 4 is a multiple of 8 or not. So 8 ones are 8, 4 and 4, 44. So it is not multiple of 8. So 8 does not divide 124. So this implies 8 does not divide 51124, right? Now say that if I take 3 6 5 4 1 2 8, so you need to check last three digits only. So clearly 8 divides 128 because 128 is 8 into 16, right? So this implies 8 also divides this entire number, 3 6 5 4 1 2 8. Fine. So now the test of divisibility of 9. So 9 divides n if and only if sum of digits is divisible by 9. If and only if sum of digits is divisible by 9, right? Then only 9 divides the original number. Then 10, you already know the last digit should be 0. Last digit should be 0. Then 11, I think you have already studied it in your school. It says that 11 divides n if and only if the difference between sum of even and odd digits, sum of even and odd place digits is a multiple of 11. So let us see what I mean by this. Say for example, if I take 1 3 3 2 1, right? Now you need to take the sum of odd place digits. So 1 3 1, 1 plus 3 plus 1 is how much? It is 5, and 3 plus 2, it is also 5, right? 3 plus 2 is nothing but the sum of digits which are at even places, and 1 3 and 1 are at odd places, right? This is at first place, this is second place, this is third place, this is fourth place and fifth place. So at odd places, 1 3 and 5 places, we have 1 3 and 1, their sum is 5, and at even places, that is at second and fourth place, we have 3 and 2, so their sum is also 5. So the difference is 5 minus 5, that is 0. So clearly 0 is divisible by 11, that is 11 divides 0. This simply means that 11 divides 1 3 3 2 1. Fine. For example, if I take 1 5 4 3 1 2, right? Now you see odd places sum is what? Odd places sum is nothing but 1 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2, right? 1 4 2 and 2. So this is 9. And even places sum is how much? 5 plus 3 plus 1, which is again 9. So the difference is 0, which is divisible by 11. So clearly 11 divides 0, because 0, I mean, it is divisible by, it is a multiple of any number. 0 is a multiple of any number. So definitely 11 also divides the original number 1543212, right? So I think the divisibility of 11 is also clear. And divisibility of 12, now again we'll use the same property. 12 I'll write it as 3 into 4. So I'll say that 12 divides n if and only if 3 divides n and 4 divides n, right? Because 3 into 4 is 12 and GCD of 3 and 4 is 1. This is very important. Then only I can use the property. Fine. Similarly, if I ask you divisibility of 14, then you can just check that it should be divisible by 2 and 7, because 2 and 7 GCD is 1. So 14 divides n if and only if 2 divides n and 7 divides n, right? Similarly, if I take say 15, then I can say that GCD of 3 and 5 is 1 and 3 5s are 15. So 15 divides n if and only if 3 divides n and 5 divides n, right? So I mean, this, in this way you can find test of divisibility of any number, right? For prime numbers, let us say I didn't talk about 13, 17, 19. So for prime numbers you need to check only whether it is divisible by that prime or not. We had test of divisibility of 7, we had test of divisibility of 3, 5, they are also prime, but we had the test of divisibility of 2, 3, 5 and 7. I mean, we can also derive a test of divisibility of 13, right? That we'll also learn how to derive some test of divisibility of 13, but then it is not possible to remember all the test of divisibility of all the primes. So we just check the number whether it is divisible by certain prime or not. But if there are composite numbers, say 14, 15, then you can split this two numbers, split this composite numbers into product of two numbers such that they are co-primes. Such as 12 I split it as 3 into 4. 3 and 4 are co-primes. So just I need to check with 3 and 4. So I hope that this thing is clear to you, the divisibility thing. So for example, if I ask you to find, say, number of 2-digit numbers which are divisible by 6, right? You need to find the number of 2-digit numbers which are divisible by 6. So you can pause the video and you can try this problem, and then you can come back to see the solution. Yes, so what we can do here is, see, the first number is what? It is 12, then it is 18, you just need to add 6, 24 and so on. The last number will be what? So 16, 6 are 96. After 96 if you add 6 it will increase. I mean if it will cross the 2-digit numbers, it will go to 102. So this is my series, right? 12, 18, 24 and 96. So now I need to calculate how many numbers are there, right? So I can, calculate, you can calculate 12, 18, 24 and you can calculate all the numbers, how many are these. But since we are already aware that this is an AP, right? So we want the number of terms in this AP, right? So let the number of terms in this AP be n. Let the number of terms in this AP arithmetic progression be n, right? So then 96 is nothing but a plus n minus 1 into d, right? We told that nth term, if the number of terms is n, this is the first, this is the second, so this will be nth term, right? If the number of terms is n, then we know that in AP what is the formula for nth term? That is a plus n minus 1 into d. So 96 is a is first term, 12 plus n minus 1 into d. D is the common difference, which is 6 here. So 96 minus 12 is equal to 6 into n minus 1. So then if you divide with 6, you will get 16 minus 2 is equal to n minus 1. So n minus 1 is 14. So n is nothing but 15. So number of terms in this AP is 15. So number of 2-digit numbers which are divisible by 6, it is nothing but 15. Fine. So I hope that this is clear. So in the next session we will discuss how to find the number of factors of a number, how to find the sum of factors of a number and those things.